All right, all right, all right. We're here. We are here. Let's see who shows up tonight. Oh, there we go. Hey, Danica. Hey, hey, hey. Terry. Terry's in the house. What's going on? All right. Hey, Linda. What's going on? Terry, you're making me laugh. Okay, Linda, you are making me interested. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Angie's Angles. It is December the 28th in the year of my Lord 2023. As most of you know, if you haven't already by my ad nauseum posts on Facebook, I am 1 week out of surgery, recovering from cervical fusion surgery. I'm doing well. My voice isn't up to par like it should be. My opening was a little subdued. I apologize for that. Harold, my friend, I am duo interstitial. I can't hit those low octaves right now. Hi, Terry. How are you? My brace is in my car. I don't have to do it when I'm eating or sleeping. Hey, Nick, what's going on? Thank you for the prayers and the well wishes, Nick. Yeah, we're interested in JD Martinez and Gio Urshela. But tonight, before we go any further, I have to let you know we're going to have a special guest. I'm waiting for him to log on. I announced it earlier. I am beyond blessed that Coach Dom Scala, recent inductee to the New York Hall of Fame, Yankee baseball bullpen catcher from 78 to 86. And you all know how I feel about the Yankees. You get it. But when it comes to people, there's not a nicer, more kinder man than Dom Scala. He's actually gone out of his way to give me some advice on Danny. I sent him some hitting pictures, give me some instructions on what I could do with Danny. He's actually been very instrumental in Danny's progress through his career. So I'm just waiting for him to log on, and we're going to have a special guest co-host. Terry, I know I'm not eating or sleeping, but I couldn't be like this. I mean, I need a little mobility, and it's probably good for me to get a little mobility going. Although I think I did push myself a little bit today, but we're doing fine. We're doing fine. I couldn't be doing better. Thank you. Anyway, I'm just texting him, letting him know. Give me 1 second. So I don't know how I'm supposed to really do this. I think he's supposed to log on, and then I'm supposed to invite him. So let me see something. Oh, here we go. Invite. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. Still waiting on him. But let's talk. Oh, Terry, don't tease me. Please text her to do that. If you know what I mean. Hey, and here's Dom Scala, guys. Hey, Coach, how are you? We can't hear you at the moment. You might have to No, I still can't hear you, Coach. No, sir, not yet. Nope, not yet. Oh, you killed your camera, Coach. All right, he's going to try to come back in. All right, let's see what happens here. Let's see if he comes back in. So, let's just jump right into the into the Ohtani signing with the Dodgers. We covered that a little bit, but more importantly, Yamamoto. And there's no doubt in my mind that this guy firmly believes that Ohtani deferred all that money so him and Yamamoto could be a done deal package. Mark Brooks, my brother from another mother. I am Interstatal, Mr. Brooks. Thanks for joining us tonight. Hey, Dennis, how are you, brother? Thank you. I appreciate you signing on, pal. We're trying to get Coach Scala up live if we can. I'm not sure. We're having some technical difficulties, and I'm going to be not happy about that. I'm not sure why that was an issue, but we're trying to resolve it. Clark, I am quadruple interstatal. What's up, buddy? So while we're trying to wait for see if Coach Scala comes back on, let's do this. This is my first cigar since the surgery. I probably should be doing this. But there's a lot of things in my life I probably shouldn't be doing. If you know what I mean. Yeah, Clark, the neck is good. A little painful today because I pushed the envelope a little bit. I had my follow-up. Hey, Dave. Hi, Dave. Hi, Marianne. I am quintuple. No, I am quintuple interstatal. That's very funny. I'm trying not to overdo it. I'm just up here. He's back now. Let's see if we hear him. Oh, you know what, Coach? Here we go, Coach. Ready?
Can you hear me now?
Yep. You're good, Coach. You're good.
Okay, good.
How you doing?
Merry Christmas to all. How you doing?
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Coach. So I just gave you a little intro, Coach, buying some time. I said, my friends and family, well, I don't have any more friends on Angie's Angles. They're all family. They've graduated to all my family. And they all know how I stand with the Yankees, right? I'm not that big of a Yankee guy.
Well, here you go, Angie. I had to get the hat.
Oh, look at you, Coach.
So I have to put the hat on. I have to put it on, but I'm going to tell you something, though. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw this one away, and it's not a Met hat, but it's a Brooklyn Cyclone hat.
I'll take it.
I'm from Brooklyn, so I'm going to put the Brooklyn hat on for you guys.
Thank you, Coach. What I was telling my audience is that you have a lot of connections to the Yankees, but it's the man that you are that has created our friendship. I could not find a nicer man, a more caring guy for the game of baseball. Dom Scala, baseball.com. Dom Scala runs a baseball camp. My son Danny had the fortune of attending. Learned a lot of stuff from Dom Scala baseball. Let me tell you something.
Thank you very much.
And it's made Danny the player he has. Danny was just all conference last year as a junior for Longwood High School. And that just didn't happen from waking up and rolling out of bed. He had a lot of people behind him, and Coach Scala in his camp were one of those people. So, Coach, I thank you personally.
Well, listen, I feel that I'm like a small part of the kids that have gone through my camps through the years. I've been doing this is going to be my 23rd year coming up. And I've seen them, grow from 5-6-year-old kids, going to high school, going to college, and some even playing pro baseball. And all I can tell you is that being a part of their lives, not only teaching them the game of baseball, but teaching them to respect the game of baseball. I think that that's very, very important. And by respecting the game of baseball, playing it the right way, understanding it, being an attentive student, I can tell you this, and I tell all my kids that go through even to this day, that I employ a lot of the kids that went to the camp. They become employees of mine. in the summer, in the fall, in the spring. And I can tell you something, the kids that I have behind me, when I tell them, all of these guys that are instructors, they were all kids that respected the game of baseball, understood the game of baseball, and paid attention to the game of baseball. So that's what I'm about in my camps. We care about the kids. We don't want parents to spend their hard-earned money and kids are not going to get better. We want them to get better.
Yeah, and watching Danny do some of the drills at your camp during my lunch break, there's no truer word spoken. Dom Scala, baseball doesn't really push a winner or loser. They're all winners. As long as they listen to the instruction, they follow through, they treat each other with the respect for not only each other, but for the game, like Coach said. Yeah. And that's amen, hallelujah, Coach.
Well, I'm a fundamental guy.
Yes.
There are a lot of people that teach now. You go to these, and I'm not knocking anybody. Everybody has their own thing. My thing is fundamentals and repetition. I believe you teach the kids the fundamentals of the game. What happens is, as you know, Angelo, and Danny is finding out, as you go up the ladder and start playing freshman and JV and then varsity high school baseball and then go to college, the game is the same. It only speeds up. And if you don't have the proper fundamentals of the game is going to go by you. You could be the best player at 12, 13 years old. However, if you don't pay attention and you don't have the fundamentals of the game, as you get older and it speeds up, it's going to get tougher and tougher.
Absolutely. Danny just signed on. He sent his regards to you, Coach, saying thank you for everything.
Great kid, a kid that always paid attention, a kid that I am not surprised that he is flourishing now, going to be a senior now. And I'll tell you what, if I was still in college, I'd bring him aboard.
That's high praise, Coach. I appreciate that.
Because he can do it all.
So let's jump right into it, Coach.
Yeah.
So, and you're very good friends with Willie Randolph. So yes. when the Mets hired Willie Randolph to be the manager, my first inclination was, I'm not going to hear the end of it from my Yankee friends. They're going to say, so if the Mets succeeded with Willie at the helm, they would have said, it took a great Yankee to fix your Mets. And if the Mets didn't do well, they would have said, not even a great Yankee could help your Mets. So it was a lose-lose for me, Coach. Now that we have Carlos Mendoza, who, for all transparency, I never knew existed before he got hired. Right. Because who knows the bench coach on the Yankees unless you're a Yankee fan. And some of my friends who are Yankee fans said, Carlos, who? They didn't even know the guy. So give me some insight into Carlos Mendoza, if you know any, kind of calm my fears, only because, so my statement is, in my opinion, when we hired David Stearns, I really truly believe David Stearns thought he had counsel in his back pocket to come over.
So right? Did I.
Okay. So all right. So they let Buck go, and I was a Buck fan. I was a huge Buck guy. Okay.
I like Buck. Buck. I think he just got caught. Up, because Stearns came in and he wanted to bring his own guy in.
Right, and then I don't know if you ever watched the movie March of the Wooden Soldiers with Stan Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah.
Apparently, Stearns and counsel weren't like this. Him and the toy maker were like that. So counsel went his own way.
I don't know much about that other than I know they were together for at least 5 or 6 years, so it couldn't have been that bad. But when a guy is winning, that's the formula. You got to keep him around. As far as Mendoza is concerned, all I can tell you is that he's been a Yankee, and he's been in the Yankee system for about 20 years, and he's done every job there is, which is a great thing to have a well-rounded manager. Now, when I went from the Yankees to Pittsburgh, back in the day, I went from the Yankees in 1986 to the Pittsburgh Pirates in '87 with Jimmy Leland and Sid Thrift.
Right.
And
You
the
were an
reason why
advanced scout
Sid
for them,
Thrift
right,
hired
Coach?
me from the Yankees was because, first of all, I had a little bit of a history with him. He actually drafted me with the Oakland A's. He was the farm director at the time, and he after I was let go by the A's, he was still in baseball, of course, and he kept up with my career. So when I left the Yankees in '86, he called me and said, "Dom," he goes, "I'm putting together a winning team here in Pittsburgh, and I want your insight because you've been with a winner for 9 years, the New York Yankees." So in other words, what I'm trying to say to you with Mendoza is that everybody wants people who are on a winning team. They want you to bring that winning attitude and that winning formula to them. And that's what I can tell you about Carlos Mendoza, is that he's going to bring the Yankee winning ways to the Mets. And that's not to say that the Mets weren't winning, because they've been winning. Just had a tough year last year, with some injuries and stuff, and they couldn't overcome the injuries, And that happens with a lot of teams. It happened with the Yankees. They couldn't overcome Judge, the injury to Judge last year. And that's not good. That's not good. When you got to depend on one guy to carry your team, that is not good. That's why I think it's going to be a lot better this year. And I'm not trying to, discount the Mets, but I think that's why it's going to be a lot better for the Yankees this year, because I think they're going to have a little bit more of a team that's going to surround, with Soto and with Verdugo, and hopefully with a couple of other guys that are healthy. They're going to surround that, and they're going to get back to their winning ways. And I also believe that the Mets are going to go in the right direction with Mendoza.
So I had to suffer through the Mendoza signing as our manager, right? So we're a big market team. We've proven that rookie managers don't really work in New York all that well. Okay, so we lose Buck, we lose Counsell, we fall back on Mendoza. I give him respect, like you said. He's been in that organization for 20-something years.
Right.
Fair point, right? So he's got to be doing something accurate and right.
Right.
So I finally resolved myself to Carlos Mendoza as my manager, and then they go and sign Luis Severino.
I think Severino's going to be good this year. Now, let me just say this about Severino. Here's my observation about Luis. His arm is good. It's somebody has got to get into his head and make sure that he stays on the straight and narrow path when he's concentrating, and when he needs that tunnel vision, okay, from the pitcher to the catcher. He can't get into that rhythm where he throws one or two bad pitches, ball goes out of the ballpark, and then he kind of implodes a little bit. That's my take on Luis Severino. I think Luis Severino, he can win 13, 14 games for you this year. And I think that's a good thing for what, if you can get all your pitchers to win 13, 14 games, your four starters, you're talking about a good 70, 80 wins right there. You know what I mean? 60, 70 wins. And then you got your bullpen and all of that stuff.
Right. That's a fair point. And we're going to hold you to that. We're putting Dom Scala in the books for Luis Severino, 13 to 15 wins.
Yeah, put me down for that. And I'll tell you what, Senga's a great pitcher.
Yeah, I love Senga.
I like Senga. And I think Quintana is a very good pitcher.
Uh-huh.
So and this guy McGill is a very good fourth or fifth starter. Okay. Who's their fourth guy? I'm not sure who that fourth guy is.
Yeah, so what do we got? We got Senga, Quintana, Severino, Nick, help us out, Troiano. Nick Troiano.
You also have a rookie guy, right? You have some rookie guy.
Yeah, we got Robertson, perhaps.
Yeah. But then you got some guy. You just need to strengthen that bullpen a little bit before Diaz.
Yeah.
You need to strengthen that bullpen.
So let's touch topic real quick on. I'm not a fan of the World Baseball Classic. What's your take on it?
I like it. I really do. It's tough. It's tough to figure out where to put it. Everybody say, "Oh, why don't you do it after the season?" Well, you can't do it after the season. The guys are tired and stuff, and for the most part, And there's football going on and all of that stuff, So, it's about marketing. I kind of like it. I think it's I don't know if you ever been to a game. Have you ever been to a game?
I have not, Coach.
I was at the Dominican Republic USA game when they played for the championship several years ago in Miami. And I'll tell you what, those Dominican fans, they're unbelievable, man. They stand up the whole game and they cheer the whole game. It was exciting. It really was. It really was.
And I agree with that statement. I think the World Baseball Classic is a global event that America takes a back seat fandom wise, right?
Yeah.
We're split in America because maybe we're spoiled with the MLB.
Yeah.
How about this take? I'm a team guy, Coach. I manage at Adelphi. I manage a lot of people, and I'm not me and everybody else. I'm part of the team. So when you take your stars out of spring training, where you're supposed to gel as a team, where you're supposed to go to dinner together, but now they're not there. I think that was a big takeaway for a lot of teams, that they didn't have their players in camp. They were all at the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, they're probably away for about 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
But that's only a few guys,
right?
From each team. So it really. But let me just say this to you. First of all, it's a lot different today with the guys from when I was there, when I was playing, and when I was coaching with the Yankees. We were a very, very close-knit group. As you said, we used to go out a lot for dinner together after the game, or we just sit in somebody's room and, watch Sports Center, have a couple of beers and bullshit about the game. What happened and what needs to be done and what we need to do, and all of that stuff. Hey, we even went to we went to clubs, we went to bars, we went to the beach. I got plenty of stories about that stuff. You know what I mean? But we did it as a group, and what it does, it makes you closer. That when you get in the clubhouse, you kid around about that stuff and you relate to each other about that stuff.
Right. The camaraderie continues from off field to on field.
And that's the biggest thing I miss about not coaching right now or not being in the big leagues, is the camaraderie of the game. I met and I still, as you know, Angelo, I still had my friends from the Yankees, through the years, come to Adelphi and come to practices and come to games, come to spring training games. And those guys, we're family. We're like brothers. We hug each other when we meet each other. I still see guys out there because I'm involved with the New York State Baseball Hall of Fame, the Italian American Baseball Foundation. I'm on the boards over there, so I still see a lot of guys, and I'm very proud of that and happy about that. That I still get to see. Who I just brought back into the fold? Steve Balboni.
Oh yeah, sure.
Now, Steve, a lot of people don't realize this. Steve Balboni was the advanced scout for the San Francisco Giants for the 3 World Championships.
Oh wow!
Do you know that?
I didn't know that, Coach.
He was the advanced scout for the 3. So he had a pretty good career after baseball. A lot of people don't realize.
Right.
So I'm trying to get him back into the fold because he's a very popular guy in New York.
Okay. So before you came on, I did a little intro on you, and I just want to reiterate that Coach Scala was honored as an inductee to the New York State Hall of Fame. Well deserved, Coach.
Thank you.
Very well deserved. I was very proud to hear that, to know you, to have that relationship with you.
Hey, let me show you this. This was my. I have a couple of things to show you guys if you like pictures and stuff from my.
Okay.
I'm actually down here in my man cave, and I said I'm going to show Angela a couple of things. Now, this was my Hall of Fame jersey that they give you. Okay, when you just like the Hall of Fame is
right,
the regular
right.
Hall of Fame, they put your name on it and everything. My pinstripe, my number.
That's fantastic.
And I got a whole bunch of things, but I'm very proud that I was inducted into the New York State. It's a lifetime achievement award.
Yes.
And it's not only about your baseball prowess. It's about how you impacted your community, how you impacted kids, how you impacted your university, and how you impacted, the Yankees. So I'm very, very proud of that. Hey, let me show you this. This is something that I have down here. I took it off the wall.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that picture.
Have you seen that picture?
Yes.
Of Yogi, me, and Billy.
Yes.
That was in Baltimore. You want to hear a funny story about that?
Yes, please.
So I'll try to tell it very, very and then there's a picture below that with a lot of Hall of Famers in there.
Yes.
Old Timers Day. So we're in Baltimore, rain delay, and the reporters are allowed to stay on the field until they tell you that they're going to take the tarp off the field. Okay? So Phil Pepe from the Daily News comes out of the tunnel, comes through the tunnel, and he sees us three sitting there right there, just like that. And Phil Pepe says to Yogi, "Hey, Yogi, you think it's going to stop raining?" And he goes, "It always does." So that was a Yogiism that nobody knew about, And me and Billy and I are looking at each other like the Aflac duck, like this. Huh? So
Yogi was something else.
Which is a great picture below it. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. That's me, Mickey Mantle to my left, Joe DiMaggio to my right, Bill Dickey to his right, and Phil Rizzuto, and Yogi's behind him with his hand on his hat. So that's a priceless picture for me.
Yes. Now, you were recently on Billy Martin's widow's podcast, right?
Yes, Jill.
Right.
The Price of Admission.
Yes, I watched it. You were kind enough to send it to me. I found that fascinating.
Yeah, she's very good. She gets a lot of great guests. I was very honored to be on her show. I was on for about an hour. I told some stories, and Billy and I. As a matter of fact, I got a picture here of Billy. This is a picture autographed from me from Billy right there.
Very nice.
I got that in here, and Billy was a different cat, if you know what I'm saying. Right, the old days, he was a different cat. If he liked you, you were set. I happen to be one of those guys that was set. If he didn't like you, well, you got to stay out of his way. You know what I mean?
So, how real was that Billy Martin, Reggie Jackson diatribe?
It was real. It was real. Listen, they had like a love-hate relationship, just like George and Billy had a love-hate relationship. They couldn't live without each other. You know what I mean?
I do.
But Billy, something, Angelo, I was telling my wife this a couple of times. I found myself being like Billy on the field sometimes, the way I express my emotions and everything. Billy was a very emotional guy. If you didn't hustle, you were out. And that was the old days. You know what I mean? Today, it's not like that. You got to be more of a psychologist as a manager today.
I know,
Angelo.
I know what you're talking about. I have to be like that at work.
And yep. And in those days, you can get on people. You can yell at people. You can grab somebody. Today, you can't do that stuff. It's just a no-no. And, everybody says, "Oh, I wonder how Billy would be as a manager today," or Earl Weaver, or Sparky Anderson.
Or those even Jimmy Leland, right? Jimmy Leland
those
going
guys
up against Bonds in spring training.
I don't think they can manage those guys today, I really don't think so.
So let's talk about the state of baseball. And I don't know how much time you have. So you let me know when.
I'm good. Good.
I appreciate that, Coach.
I'll do anything for you.
So let's talk about the state of baseball, especially all this money just being dropped. And Major League Baseball has a problem because San Diego Padres are fiscally in trouble. They're drowning because their cable company went belly up that was really underwriting the team and left them hanging with the payments. So MLB has stepped in and taken over, gave a loan to the Padres. And there was a rumor that I heard, and I don't know if you can substantiate it, that Major League Baseball is thinking about getting into the broadcast business. in terms of the cable deals and being the team's cable deals for them?
Well, they're already in it as far as as you know, the MLB network, which is a great network. You know,
Right.
You know what it is. A president or a general manager comes in and says, "Hey, man, let's try to take a shot at this for 1 or 2 years, and we'll sign this guy, and this guy, and we got to hope that they gel." You know, because they got some good ball players. They had some good ball players over there. But,
yes.
But when push came to shove down in the 8th and 9th inning, they just didn't have enough. You know, they just didn't have enough. And it's very, very hard. It really is very hard to win a championship. I mean, a lot of people think just because you got guys that are making $50 million or $30 million or whatever it is, that those guys gotta get a hit every time up. They're not. They're not. Don't forget, I tell kids, if you get 3 hits out of every 10 times up, you hit 300 and you'll make yourself 10, 12, $20 million a year in major leagues. So that means you fail 7 times. You see, you're failing more than you're succeeding.
And baseball's the only sport where that is true. That you could fail 7 out of 10 times and still be an all-star because you're hitting 300.
Correct. Well, you could even be an all-star hitting 280 today.
Right. Well, Kyle Schwarber, what he bet, $198 for God's sakes.
Yeah, but he hit 45 homers, 47 homers, knocked in 100. So, you know, listen, you can have a Kyle Schwarber on your team if you have other pieces.
Yes.
And they had other pieces. I thought Philadelphia was the best team, be honest with you. I thought they were going to win. Okay? But obviously, you had Arizona, who was very scrappy. Okay? They ran listen, they played the game of baseball the way it should be played. They stole bases, they ran, they made the great defensive plays, they did fundamental baseball, they hit and ran, they bunted when they needed to, and they hit the long ball too.
Right.
So, you gotta have it all. You see the Yankees can't wait for the 3-run homer. It's no good. You know what the Yankees on base percentage was?
No.
300.
Oh my goodness.
Less than 300, like 298. Do you know when I was at Adelphi, I looked at on base percentage was one of my biggest things. If you're 350, 360, you're doing well. Okay? If you're 400, like Soto is and Judge is, okay, that's extraordinary. That's extraordinary. 400. Okay? That's getting on base 4 out of 10 times up. That's pretty damn good.
Right.
In the big leagues.
Right.
When the average is only about 320.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So it's about on base percentage. It's about RBIs, and it is about batting average. Today these general managers don't look at batting average. Some places you go and you look up on the scoreboard, and what do they have? OPS, OBS. They don't have friggin' average.
Right.
Hardly anybody has an average up there anymore.
Right, because it's been so diluted with the launch angle and the home runs.
Yeah.
Right. And the situational hitting is almost an extinct part of the game.
Yep, you're absolutely right. And I'm going to tell you what, I think that you're going to see a lot more situational stuff because of the 2 teams that were in the World Series this past year that did that stuff. Both teams did it.
Right. And obviously it works, right?
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of different takes on Ohtani's contract. Okay. Now I understand the Dodgers, that Ohtani went to the Dodgers with this thought. I'm not buying that so much, I got to be honest. But I don't understand how he could defer $680 million for 10 years with no interest.
I don't either, but I don't either.
Let's talk about Bobby Bonilla. He deferred, $3 million, and he's getting paid $1 million a year until 2035 because of the deferred money.
Let me say this to you. First of all, I think $700 million is like it's crazy. I mean, I'm just like dumbfounded by that number, $700 million. I mean, but I'm going to tell you this: the Dodgers have been preparing. They've been preparing for this for 2 years.
Okay.
By not signing certain guys, they knew the guys that they had that they were gonna dump this year. You know, like the Martinez guy who would probably get 25, 30 million as a DH. So what did they do? They used that money and they get Ohtani as the DH. Now, let me say this to you. And I know this through my time in baseball.
Right.
And, I'm a good friend of Brian Cashman, as you know, and all that stuff. You always, with these, especially with pitchers like Yamamoto, right? You always give at least 2 years free when you want to get when somebody is in high demand. Okay, there weren't many pitchers other than maybe I could name. CC Sabathia was a guy who had a 7-year contract that pitched all 7 years and pitched well.
Yes.
Other than that, if you look and you do some history, you'll see guys that got 7-year contracts, they got hurt somewhere along the line, were out for a whole season or maybe a season and a half, just like Scherzer and, Verlander and all of these guys, But Ohtani is a unicorn. There's no doubt about that. He's a unique guy. Is he worth that kind of money? Well, and I always said this, if the owners didn't have it, they wouldn't pay it.
I agree.
They wouldn't pay it.
I've been spewing that the owners cannot do a lockout over money anymore.
No.
Because it's proven they got boatloads of money.
Listen, you know what the least how can I put this? The least expensive team. In other words, the team that has the that's like, let's take the Kansas City Royals.
Okay.
Or or Detroit or somebody.
Or the Pirates, right?
Or the Pirates. They're worth a couple of $1 billion now.
Right. Right.
Those teams were bought for $100 million.
Right.
$200 million.
Right.
Back in the day. Even the Rays. The Rays are worth a couple of $1 billion.
And they have a small payroll.
And they have a small payroll, and they also don't draw.
But they succeed in the standings.
Exactly.
And due to your comments about the OPS, getting on base, they put it together. They got that formula, which, we could talk about Billy Beane and the Oakland theory of guys that get on base. That was his big deal, right?
That was his big deal. That was his big deal back in the day. And it stood up for a long time about that. But you need more now. It's not just about that. And the other thing is, you really need to have that combination. You need to have that, you need to have all the different components in order to win. There's no doubt about it.
So I'm going to throw something at you. I'm a purist. I'm a purist in my entire life.
Right.
I've got principles. I try to pass them on to my children. Do the right thing, be the right person, yada, yada, yada. What is Rob Manfred doing to baseball? Because I'm telling you, I can't. And all these baseball rules, the new rules.
He's trying to appease the fans, because that's the fans are the ones that come to the ballpark. They're the ones that they come to the ballpark, they buy hot dogs, they buy beer, they buy souvenirs. He's trying to appease and bring in kids, because he feels that the game is too slow. Well, why don't you, if you think the game is too slow, why don't you just start the inning right away? Why you got to wait for all the commercials to go on and shit?
Right.
You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to, if you go to a game and you watch them and the pitcher's waiting on the mound after he throws his warm-up pitch, he's waiting to get the signal. Okay, the commercials are over. Well, he could have started those pitches 2 minutes ago. There's 2 minutes right there.
Well, Coach, I've got some comments that I want to bring up to you.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
My buddy Clark Oatman insists that the guys you were just talking about that Manfred is trying to appease are really not baseball fans.
Correct. Correct.
Right. And I made a statement. If you want to know who your fan base is, count the heads in the first inning and in the ninth inning.
Yeah.
Because in between, they're not your fans that come in the third and leave by the seventh.
You're right. You're right. But the thing is, they also pay the same amount of money as those people that were there from the first to the ninth. So you got to keep them in the stands. And some of those people, now I'm not saying all of them, but some of those people, hey, it's like everything else today. We don't go by the majority, we go by the minority, right? Everything that's done today
You're
is
right
done
about
for the
that.
minority, not minority people. I'm talking the minority
Sure.
of whatever you're talking about.
I understand the fan base,
Minority
right?
of whatever you're talking about.
So Manfred is trying to appease that minority that he feels he's got to
have
to, right?
He's got to have, right?
Right. And I disagree greatly. And my family of Angie's Angles fans, they agree with me that, you know, so I have 4 sons. I taught them all about the love of the game. Okay. Danny's a student of the game. He loves the game. My oldest son, Michael, was an all-star catcher back in the day. Now he's 6'7", so it'd be a little difficult to be a catcher, but that's a story for another day. But I taught them about the nuances of the game. And the one thing that Rob Manfred has done, we will never see, never, ever, and I'm only using this story to highlight my point, we will never see Kirk Gibson coming off the bench facing Dennis Eckersley. That at-bat lasted 12 minutes. I might be exaggerating, but it lasted a long time.
Well, we had one. I had one with Reggie Jackson and Bob Welch back in the day with the Dodgers, and he had like a 12-minute at bat. I remember seeing Reggie in the locker room because he struck out, and we lost the game against. Welch was their closer, and he fouled about 5 or 6 pitches back, straight back. Okay, he was locked in, and then Welch threw him a high fastball, and he whiffed, and he went crazy. He was sweating profusely in the locker room. I mean, he was just dripping wet, being so locked in and so in that at bat.
Sure.
But what you're saying is that do you realize this? You know when they say a game goes 237 and 240, right?
Right.
They don't count the times when they got to go to the video replays.
Right.
You're still there.
Right.
You're still watching it on TV. How about when they have sometimes it takes 4 or 5 minutes for them to get a friggin'
5 minutes, right? And they got 53,000 cameras looking at the play. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
And I'm being over exaggerated, but a lot of times they get the call wrong.
Yeah. Well, listen, as you know, these umpires, by what's been going on with these replays, can you imagine? Remember in the day when guys were losing no-hitters and perfect games and games because there was no replay.
Right.
Now, I got to say this. Last year, I don't know if I was on your show or somebody else's show, and I said, I don't know how this is going to go with these new rules and all that stuff, you know. Some of the rules, like I thought, you know, that you got to be in a batter's box within a certain time. You got to throw a pitch. I thought it was going to be more of an issue than it was. But I guess everybody gets used to stuff after a while. You know what I mean? So it really didn't bother me for the most part. Plus the fact, if you notice, the batters got around it a little bit by getting a timeout, which is very important. You know, usually with 2 strikes, you know, they get 2 quick strikes and they timeout, you know, and you get 10 seconds now. You know, you gather yourself, you can think about it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that it was as detrimental as I thought it was going to be.
And I'll disagree with you because I have not accepted it, right?
You can.
Right. And you being the elite catcher, it's a cat and mouse game that you play, right? You as a catcher are yucking it up to the hitter. You know, you're having some dialogue. Your pitcher is trying to get into the batter's head. The batter is trying to adjust his straps and everything else and blowing kisses to the crowd, whatever, to throw the pitcher's timing off. That you guys are not robots. Major League Baseball players are not robots.
Yes, yes, yeah.
We're human
I
beings.
I understand where you're coming from, and there is some validity to that also, you know.
Right.
But listen, we all know that some of these things that he put in, you know, was just to put it in, was just to say, hey, we're trying, you know. So this way, some of these people who are wishy-washy about baseball are going to still go to the games and they're still going to participate.
Yeah, and that's the part that ticks me off. All these corporate sponsors with the box seats and the whole 9 yards. And I mean, but today's day and game, you go to Citi Field, you got to pay $30 just to get into the parking lot. You got to pay a minimum of $50 a ticket for kind of upper decks. Then you got $10 beers and hot dogs. Except now you got Shake Shack and this shack and that shack that are all gourmet foods, right?
Yeah.
Popcorn's costing you $10 for God's sakes.
Yeah.
So a family of 4 is going to cost you easy $400 plus. And if I'm going to devote my $400 on the working stiff, salary that I'm doing, I don't want to go to a 2-hour and 30-minute game. I want to make it an outing. I want to sit there, enjoy the crowd, the weather, the noise, the excitement. I don't want to come in, be told, hello, how are you, goodbye. And that's what's happening to baseball. It really is.
I got you. That's fair.
It doesn't allow us the nostalgia, right? Sitting next to it.
And there were a lot that think like you. There are a lot of people that think like you. I'm the same way. I don't need all that fluff. I don't need all that fluff. I'm going to watch the game when I go. As a matter of fact, I only go to maybe 3 or 4 games a year. That's it. Too much of a hassle, to go, to park, to fight the crowds, you know what I mean? Like you said,
Well, I boycotted going to live games due to the fact that the owners and the players went into that lockout. Okay? Everything I own is Mets. That's my wardrobe.
Yeah.
I got Met everything. And I told my family and friends last year, don't buy me for my birthday, for Father's Day, I don't want no baseball paraphernalia because I'm protesting, and that's my silent protest, right?
Okay. That's
because
fair.
I feel like they're stealing the game that I love. Ricky Henderson must be getting his cleats out now with the larger bases and only 2 disengagements from the mound. Imagine how many stolen bases freaking Ricky Henderson could have stole in today's conditions.
Yes.
And it's diluting the stats, in my opinion, Coach, right? So those stats that Ricky Henderson earned by playing baseball the way it was meant to be played is now out the window. So some speedster who could take another foot lead off of first base, knowing the pitcher already threw over once. If he throws over again and doesn't get me out, I get second base.
Right.
The ghost runner. Can we save the ghost runner for softball, for God's sakes? What's next? A safety bag? I mean, Coach, don't get me started. You're going to get my neck all flared up coming off the surgery.
Yeah, listen, I was going to tell you, take it easy, man.
But these are the points that keep me up at night.
Yeah, no, I get it. Listen, it's a tough world that we live in right now. Well, I shouldn't say it's a tough world. It's a soft world that we're living in right
Coach.
now.
Yes, Coach. It is. I manage students, and we have a great staff, but sometimes they dress inappropriately. They come in not in our uniform that we have.
Right.
And at times I'm very hesitant to have that conversation because holy crap, you could get in trouble for having that conversation, even though it's part of the rules and the culture of that office, right? So you kind of take a step back and you lose your edge, in my opinion.
I get that.
Right. So we'll just touch on one last topic and I'll let you go. Please tell me the computerized strike zone's not coming.
I hope not.
Okay, we're on the same page.
I hope not.
I mean, I don't understand how the umpires union could actually stand behind this.
Well, the The umpires, they don't really have a union anymore. They're employed by Major League Baseball. They're not like.
Oh, I did not know this.
Major League Baseball is their bosses.
Okay.
That's why you're seeing all of this stuff with the strike box and all of that stuff, because if they did, and the replays and all that, if they weren't employed by Major League Baseball, okay, they wouldn't want that, because every night they're looking like fools.
Right.
You know?
Right. I agree with you.
The only thing is, and I'm going to tell you this, we got replays for all of this stuff. Now they're going to replay. Now they're going to replay the strike zone. You can call one time coming up. Oh, can you review that pitch?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. They're doing it in the minors, right? They're doing the independent league. It's awful.
Time off the clock.
It's awful. It's awful. Coach, I know your wife, Yolanda, is going in for a procedure tomorrow.
Yes.
Angie's Angles friend. So if you could give me 2 more minutes.
Yes.
We do a little prayer circle on Angie's Angles.
Yes.
And all my family, we're all in on this. I get requests coming in. They text it or talk to me. So, and we're gonna do the prayer circle right now. So Harold, we're praying for Dawn, your wife and your coworker. Mark Brooks, we're praying for your dad and yourself. Scott Tobias, your mom and your wife. Ray Capers, as you battle your health concerns. We're praying for Yolanda Scala. She's having a procedure. We're praying everything goes well tomorrow. Eden Leander we're hoping that she recovered from her surgery. Linda Stein, we're praying for your dad. Coach, Jim McGowan, Mr. McGowan, we're praying for you. We have your 6, my friend, as you battle cancer. Kevin Elliott, we're praying for your health challenges. Big John wanted to mention Lonnie's mother-in-law, praying for some speedy recovery there and better news. Artie wants us to pray for Joe Modlin's family. Joe, ex-NYPD, lost his life. Johnny Barbecue actually put in a prayer request for me and my recovery, so I thank you very much for that. John Jordan, we're praying for Maddie and Lou. And Leo and Bill from LIBUO, who I umpire for during the summer. Me and Danny are umpires during the summer. They want to pray for peace for everyone. Coach Scala, I can't tell you enough how honored and tickled that you took time out on your Thursday night for me and for my Angie's Angles. My
pleasure, anytime. And I hope I was enlightening for all your fans out there.
I think they're already chanting to have you back. So I think you did a great job, Coach.
Thank you. Merry Christmas and
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
New Year to you and all your fans.
I appreciate you. This has been Angie's Angles, coming to you live from Smoke Therapy with my special guest, Coach Dom Scala, recent inductee to the New York State Hall of Fame. I love you, Coach. I appreciate you. We'll talk soon. Good night.
Good night.
God bless.
Thank
love
you.
you.